Hi there, time for another game review, and it's going to be Starforce Nova on the Mastertronic branding. Let's load it up. So here's the packaging of Starforce Nova, and as befits a game that's very spacey sounding, there's a spaceship on the front being shot at by a smaller spaceship. Not a bad piece of artwork actually, compared to some of the other ones. And the spine is very difficult to read, but it does say Starforce Nova on it. This is the sort of second range Mastertronic stuff. And on the back we've got some screenshots, which looks a bit like iridium actually from the screenshots, and the usual description of what you're supposed to do in the game, which is effectively just shoot stuff. Guaranteed to make your hair stand on end. There's a bold claim. And as we move inside the packaging, we have some very small text talking about the space wars of the 4th millennium, which, let's be honest, no one really cares about. All they really care about is what you're supposed to do. You're always Captain Paul Squires, ace pilot and all-round good guy. And yes, you've got to shoot stuff. And the inside is mostly blank, apart from the now familiar also available list. Okay, so here's the title screen of Starforce Nova, which has got a scrolling message across the top which tells you what you need to do. Sorry, scrolling message across the bottom that shows you what you need to do. Reasonable sort of title tune as well. Fairly run-of-the-mill SID tune, but it's not bad. So let's get the game started, and I'm going to start by showing you what happened on my very first go of the game, before I start talking about the graphics and everything. I hit this wall and died. So it's a pretty brutal introduction to how the game is supposed to be played. So a lot of the game is about avoidance, so we'll get a game started and try and do a little bit more than that this time. So you've got to scroll along and shoot stuff and avoid the walls, which appear frequently. You've got an energy bar across the top. You've clearly obviously only got one life as demonstrated, so any mistakes are punished fairly harshly. So it does look a bit like iridium, except not as impressive. Music's interesting, kind of reminiscent of sort of 80s disco music. The screen flashes a lot for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. It might be because my energy level's low actually, and I've died now, so yeah, maybe it's when your energy's low. Well, that really is really distracting when that does happen. The graphics are run-of-the-mill really for a space shooter on the Commodore 64. Your little spaceship's a bit naff looking. So it's a case of just scroll along, avoid stuff where you can, try not to get shot, try not to crash into brick walls, or metallic walls I suppose it would be in space. Of course, by having to avoid stuff so often, you tend not to shoot stuff, which means your score doesn't go up very much. Now it's flashing now, my energy level's quite high, so I don't know why it flashes, but when it does it's incredibly annoying and probably not good for anyone who suffers from epilepsy. There's no sound effects, so it's a bit bland in that respect as well. I'm on a bonus round now, whatever that means. Oh, it means, well, that's one of my pet hates about games, where you got a bonus round that you can still die in. So I'll give it one more go before I chuck it in the bin. Not literally speaking, of course, because that would remove it from the collection. basically I'm just flying along avoiding stuff for the most part. I think you can probably guess already that I don't think this is going to be worth £1.99. I'm on about my 4th go and it must only be about 3 minutes since I started the video, so it's boring, it's not fair, it's unspectacular in the graphics department. As I've said, music's alright, but that's its only saving grace really, to be honest. See if I can get a bit further through this bonus round this time. It seems to do mostly by just avoiding stuff. I don't know what the point of that was. There was some letters to shoot there, but they shoot back and kill you. So that's enough of that. That is crap. And let's move on to the next review post haste.